Yo, what's up? We're now sitting in a Citroën EC4X, and I'm now doing a range test where I just have to drive at constant speed, 90 kilometers per hour. Yeah, it's just for repeatability, for consistency we are driving here. Yeah, so wow, I have to say, so far so good. The consumption seems pretty good. It seems like the EC4X is more efficient than the regular EC4, simply because it has a longer butt. It has a more teardrop shape. But okay, but today we have yet another 4K podcast. The reason why I like this 4K podcast is that we are touching into different topics that I normally don't talk about when we do, for example, a range test or an acceleration noise test or a 1,000 kilometer challenge. There's still a lot of stuff going on outside of my regular tests. So today I want to shed the light on my sponsors a little bit. This is okay, I mean, it has something to do with money, but again, like I always say, I never ask for anything when it comes to, I don't beg for money. But you guys have always seen those sponsors in the beginning. And then what happened to MisterGreen? Well, this video I will mention some of that stuff. Yeah, let's start with MisterGreen. What happened to MisterGreen? Well, okay, first of all, MisterGreen is not the gambling company. That one is actually called MR-Green, right? But then this is Mr. Green, you spell it out like that. MisterGreen was involved a couple of years ago. They approached me. Okay, well, first of all, I have to tell you, what is MisterGreen? MisterGreen is a company that lends, you can rent out. It's a car rental company, EV only rental company. Boy, I should know my homework. I think they originated from Netherlands. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they are in Netherlands. Last time I heard they were supposed to establish in Denmark also, but they are across many countries across Europe. And they wanted to use my channel to promote their business. So they came to me several years ago and asked me about this. And I was like, yeah, okay. I think back then, around 2-3 years ago, I didn't have that many sponsors, or did I have at all? I don't remember. But they actually wanted to provide me a car. They would then buy or whatever, or lend me a car for free I can use. And they will have a MisterGreen sticker on it, and by doing that, they get exposure and they can promote the business. And I was like, okay, yeah, well, that sounds like a good idea. But then the practical part is that they have to then bring a car that is registered in Netherlands or somewhere, right? And then bring it to Norway so I can drive around with it. And then I'm not sure how it is with the rules, how long I'm supposed to drive with it, so on, the legal stuff. But then back then I was like, I had an idea, because they were thinking about buying a second-hand Model 3 I could use. But I said, hey, how about buying back Millennium Falcon? I had that idea for the longest time. Even when I had Optimus Prime, I was dreaming that one day I will own Millennium Falcon again. And this would be a golden opportunity, because Millennium Falcon has a history behind it. For many people, especially people who's not in the EV community, it's just a Tesla. Who cares? But in the EV community, it's like the symbol of the start of EV mobility in Norway, Europe. Many people have great memories with Millennium Falcon. When I drove to when I drove to North Cape, and I took road trip across Europe when there were very few fast chargers or superchargers there. So, but that's Millennium Falcon. So we ended up buying back Millennium Falcon. By the end of the day, I bought Millennium Falcon back for 200, and the guy, I remember we found him somewhere, and then I could track him. We can actually, in Norway, you can look on drivers, the license plate, and you can look up somewhere and then find the owner's address. And then if you're lucky, you can also search for it on Yellow Pages and then find the owner's phone number if they haven't blocked it or hidden it, rather. So I found it. We found it eventually and contacted him, and strange thing is that he was also thinking about selling Millennium Falcon. He wasn't a typical EV petrol head, or I would say. He wasn't a typical EV enthusiast. Somehow he ended up with that one, that car. Something about, he claims that charging went slow, and then when I ask him, how did you charge him? Well, he used Shuko. I'm like, duh, okay, well, what about installing a charging station? So initially I wanted to buy him for 200,000 NOK, around 20,000 euros, but then he didn't agree. He said that he recently replaced the PTC heater and some other stuff, I don't remember, some expensive repairs. So we ended up settling for around 230,000. So it is actually a little bit expensive for a car that has gone over 350,000 kilometers. Oh, I don't remember, over 300,000 kilometers on Millennium Falcon. But it's just, okay, I stretched a bit extra because I wanted him back, and also MisterGreen discussed this, and they also agreed that, okay, it sounds like a good idea to get good exposure. And then MisterGreen also gave me some amount. I think I shouldn't say how much, but they gave me also some amount, but it wasn't that much. Plus that they also supported me on some of the repairs, but also Nasi took some of the repairs on his own belt, because he was also getting lots of exposure, free advertisement via his business, the Bilkomponenter. And also Bilkomponenter Bosch, they are a partner with the Tesla Owners Club. So if you're a Tesla Owners Club member, you get discount at Bilkomponenter and EV services and Elbilmek, was a nice guy, Valdemar. But yes, that's the story, short story, a recap in case you guys haven't heard about this. So we actually repaired him. I also paid extra to get the MCU2 upgrade, because in Norway, fun fact, Telenor, which is one of the big, actually the biggest phone company provider here. We have Telenor and Netcom. They have their own networks. And I have ICE, that's a different one, but it's not based on regular phone network. So Telenor, they are actually going to shut down how is this again? They will shut down the 3G network to free up frequencies, so they can then get better 4G coverage. But that means that Millennium Falcon previously, the one with MCU1 previously, they had 3G support and 2G support, but there is no 4G LTE support. So all Teslas, they will be then, if there's no 3G, they will fall back to Edge, 2G, which is dog slow. Everything becomes super sluggish. Okay, you have free Spotify support, but it's just really slow. Like when I try to play a song, we are talking about maybe 20-30 kilobit per second data rate here. I might have to wait 20-30 seconds for it to buffer up before it can play the song on Spotify. So, and the MCU1 was kind of slow. Maybe on the old OS before it went smoother, but as Tesla improved the software and then maybe made the graphic heavier, then it became more and more sluggish. So that's why I decided to upgrade to MCU2. But with MCU2 you actually get 4G LTE support, and then the car is future-proof. So I did that one. That one I paid out of my own pocket, of course. No, actually I don't remember. Maybe it was a split one with MisterGreen, and also I paid for a CCS upgrade. So the MCU2 upgrade, by the way, was around 2,000 euros, 1,500, 2,000, I don't remember. And then the CCS upgrade is around 500 euros. And also bought CHAdeMO adapter for him. So I did a little bit there, and then linear laser, laser Elite 18, yeah. And Bilkomponenter, I think it was linear. They also sponsor with a LED bar. So we have some equipment there. Yeah, I have lots of partners, or people who want to throw stuff at me. For example, Pitstop Bilplayer. They did. That's a C4. The big brother. I mean, little brother rather. Yeah. So that's a fossil. That's a C4 fossil. Oh, could almost not see that was not an E-C4. Yeah. And yeah. So then that was it. And then I drove Millennium Falcon, but I actually didn't use him that much. He was mostly just parked at dealerships or places where I borrow cars. So yeah, sometimes I use him for some trips, but I haven't even had time to do any crazy trips. I want to actually go on a trip, one last road trip with Millennium Falcon to Bodø to retrieve Optimus Prime's summer tires. Yeah, summer wheels rather, wheels. Wheel per definition is rim plus tire. Yeah, but the Optimus Prime's trailer, when the trailer wheels are up there at my mom's house. So, but then the problem nowadays is my wife is pregnant. Sometimes she has some weird food requests. She just wants to eat something random. Yeah. So I should be close to my home. But okay, well, different story, man. Everything is just connected together. But I think I need to hire someone for 2 days so I can go to Bodø and back again. But Millennium Falcon, yeah, that was MisterGreen. But MisterGreen did not pay me on a regular basis, unlike some of my other sponsors. But then, so they gave me some one-time payment, like I said. Total, maybe they actually donated or paid several thousand euros for some repairs and stuff, but also some of the really expensive repairs. Nasir actually needed payment for some of the parts, but he did at least the work for free. So we actually split it. MisterGreen took a big chunk of the bill, something like half of it or something for their parts, and then me and Nasir, we then split half of the remaining one again. So we paid roughly 25%, and then each, right? And then MisterGreen paid 50% of the parts. So Millennium Falcon has replaced lots of stuff, like half of the undercarriage has been replaced, some air suspension, some I don't remember what all those parts were named even. But that's the story of MisterGreen. But then eventually I didn't use him that much, and he was just standing there not doing nothing, and eventually it was I found out that since they are not active there anymore, and I need to make space for other potential sponsors, then we agreed. I asked them beforehand, or I asked them, kind of notified them that maybe I could remove you guys from the starting screen since you are not supporting me, and they agreed. It's fair and square, because I want to give importance to my other sponsors, because I don't want too many sponsors. There has been lots of requests, people who want to sponsor me with this and that, and some app that, something that is related to EV mobility. But I don't want too many sponsors. I don't want the starting screen to be overwhelmed by sponsors. But so that's how it is, and I still haven't had time to remove the sticker on Millennium Falcon, so I will do that eventually. But so that is the story of MisterGreen. So if you guys are wondering what happened to MisterGreen, well, and then I should also mention the other sponsors. One of the very first sponsor was a Better Routeplanner. I don't remember how it was, who was approaching who, but for the longest time I didn't want sponsors. It was like I was stubborn. I was like, I don't want sponsors, because they will affect my opinions about things. But I realized that it doesn't affect, for example, about the Routeplanner sponsorship does not affect how I review this EC4X, so that's why I realized that, okay, why not? And I will tell you that the reason why I chose the sponsors, I handpicked them. Like, I don't randomly choose. If Coca-Cola or Red Bull approaches me and like, oh, I see you drink Red Bull from time to time during your 1,000 kilometer challenges, we would like to sponsor you. No, even if they have a huge price they will give me, or a monthly fee they will pay me, I don't think I can take it. That one goes against my principles, because there are younger people who watch my channel. I don't want to send out the signal that Teslabjorn is drinking Red Bull or battery, so you should also do that. I have in the past taken a few energy drinks, but on purpose I never show them, at least not on the edited video, but in the live stream it's hard to avoid it. But fortunately we have less people watching the live stream, so I don't want to promote bad habits to my viewers. I mean, adults, they are hopefully old enough to understand the negative effects of energy drinks, but teenagers and kids, they don't. So yeah, so that's my whole idea behind it. But a Better Routeplanner, I met them and they have a great product. And the reason why I chose a Better Routeplanner is because they actually makes EV mobility better. Because, for example, this car here, yeah, prime example, this EC4X does not have navigation that will show you how many % you will arrive with. So you navigate somewhere and you have no idea whether you can make it there or not. This one, the GOM doesn't even update according to your destination, unlike in a Mercedes and a BMW. They are a little bit smarter at least, and then Tesla and Polestar and also Mercedes and BMW, they show you how many % you will arrive with. But still today, many cars, they lack that feature. So using a Better Routeplanner to give you an idea of actually sometimes really accurately how many % you will arrive with, where you should charge, how long you should charge, how many % you should charge, that is highly valuable because electric cars, they have sometimes not the greatest range and they take a long time to charge. So you just want to drive long enough and then charge long enough and not too long, so you can finish your destination without worrying. But of course, the reason why I don't usually show a Better Routeplanner in my trips is because I'm a ninja. I'm a very experienced EV driver. I don't need that one. And many times I test brand spanking new cars that they don't have support for yet, because they support cars that they have some data on to accurately show you, predictions, estimations. But a Better Routeplanner is like having me sitting by you, right, without taking up the weight. It's like a ninja that can help you give advices where you should charge and so on. So it gives you the safety of traveling on long trips with some EVs. Yeah. So that's the whole idea with a Better Routeplanner. I chose them, and I think my second sponsor was, officially at least, was Stormberg. Now Stormberg has nothing directly to do with electric mobility. It's just that I always wear Stormberg jackets, and at least in the first few years when I had my little Falcon, I didn't notice it, but people noticed my Stormberg jacket. They noticed that I always wore the Stormberg jacket, the black one. That was the first generation Stormberg Vigor jacket. Wait, was it Vigor as well? I don't remember the name, but yeah. So Stormberg, that jacket is legendary. I still have it. I will never sell it, or maybe one day I can auction it. but Stormberg, I found out afterwards that they are quite sustainable. Many clothes are made of recycled materials, and they have you can read about this on Stormberg. I'm not going to list all of it, but whoa, dude, freaking Polestar, dude, driving slow. I'm doing a 90 test here, and the freaking Polestar is driving almost slower than me, to the point where I need to overtake him soon. Otherwise, it's going to mess up my test. I will have nicer number than it should be, because I'm now semi-drafting behind the Polestar. Okay, hopefully it's just local and he will exit soon. But yeah, so that's Stormberg. So yeah, no direct link to electric mobility, but many of my viewers, they still loved Stormberg, and they just have a relation to Stormberg because it's me, And I like Stormberg because they are fairly affordable clothes, and it's made in China, but at least the Stormberg is founded in Norway, so it's the design, the whole idea, everything is based on Norwegian, Just like the Polestar in front here. I mean, is the Polestar Chinese or is it Swedish? Well, it is at least designed in Sweden, engineered by Swedes, but then manufactured in China. So we can always discuss whether it's okay. I need to overtake this Polestar, man. It's too slow, and he's now messing up my test. So I will just overtake him or her, and then see if they want to. Yeah, it's a woman. It's always a woman. Oh, I'm just kidding. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, didn't mean to be sexist or anything. But that's Stormberg. Yeah. And at least if I want to promote a clothing brand, you know, it should be something that is at least green, and that is Stormberg. They are probably one of the greener clothing companies out there. And you also, yeah, Stormberg also has a deal where you can return your clothes, even if they are old. Like many of my Stormberg jackets or pants or whatever, there is a little tag on it. You get, like, they call it punt, you know, like when you return a bottle and you get some money, but it's just tiny amount of money. For example, this Stormberg jacket I'm wearing right now might initially cost 300 NOK, and then if I return it, I can get around 20 or 30 NOK for it. They will probably not resell the whole jacket. I think they will just recycle it. So this is like just an incentive for customers to go back and return it rather than throwing it away in the Restafar, in the recycle. I mean, in the where it's just be incinerated rather than trying to reuse the materials. And also Stormberg, they also have a free marketplace. You can sell or buy second-hand Stormberg clothes. So, you know, they're trying to do their best to make it green. You can say, well, it's not green because you're shipping stuff from China. Well, yeah, but I mean, if you think about this, if you start looking, everything nowadays is made in China. Yeah, it would be great to try to use more Norwegian, European products. Fun fact, the house we are building now in Jessheim, that one is actually fairly local. The wood is from Hunton factory, or many of the wood things is from Hunton in Gjøvik. We use Sigdal kitchen. Sigdal is made in Norway. We went for Link Angel shower corner thing. That one is made in Sweden, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, so we try to use local products rather than, or at least made in Europe rather than China. Not because I have anything against China, but I feel like Europe should be more independent, or we should have our own production if it's possible. But it boils down to consumer. You know, always blame consumer. ABC. You can say, what happened to the food industry? Why is the food industry so fucked up? Well, because consumers don't want to pay too much. So that's why they have to raise the chickens in the bad ways some farms do. Because consumers don't want to pay more for chickens who can run around freely. That costs more money. Yeah. But okay, we'll stretch a little bit topics here, but this is the beauty of my 4K podcast, is that we just have a little chat and you can enjoy some Norwegian landscape in 4K. Speaking of 4K, by the way, my 4K channel about the whole view, that one didn't really become a success. I think because nobody cares about 4K shots from a car. Maybe from a drone it's different. So I've pretty much given up that channel. Eventually one day I might just delete it. So at least I tried. Yeah, and it didn't cost me much. But okay. So, and that was Stormberg, yeah, sponsor. And then I think my next official sponsor, I'm not sure. Sorry if I get it in the wrong order, but Markus Bil has been somewhat indirectly my sponsor. He lent me cars for free. I think my very first deal or my very first collaboration with Markus Bil was that freaking Fiat 500e review. I said freaking so many times, man, I didn't notice it myself, but yeah, super annoying. But I get better as I watch my own videos and realize what I do wrong. Like, you know, I try to avoid that, yeah. And I should also avoid words that doesn't mean anything, like yeah, yeah, okay. And then basically, some people just say basically everything. Basically, we are gonna do this. Basically, you know, just yeah. I watched some YouTube videos about language and how you could improve your language by taking out pointless words. Okay, but anyway, yeah, sorry, I still have bad habits, but the thing is that if I don't say then there will be a weird, awkward silence while I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to say next. But okay, so Marcus, eventually he became my sponsor. So and then why did I choose Marcus Bil? Because he's a nice guy, that's one thing, and also he buys and sells electric cars, but lately more and more Tesla, and he also tends to get lots of Teslas. And I should mention that Tesla, they don't. I mentioned this before. That they make some of the best. My claim is that they make the best cars in the world. But when it comes to press cars, first of all, Tesla, they have very few press cars. And second, they are really slow to respond to my request. It's like Porsche almost, man. It seems like the more premium you become, the less responsive you are. No, that's not true. Mercedes, for example, they're also very premium. BMW, they respond to my emails when I request borrowing something. Tesla is like a high packet loss. I don't know what the heck is going on with the Tesla. And also, they don't allow you to borrow press cars for 7 days, like is more or less the industry standard. So that is a bit bummer, but as a coincidence, Marcus, he gets lots of Teslas, and he gets the exposure every time I test his cars. And he, of course, he's smart. He's a freaking smart man. That guy is brilliant. Yeah. He puts the Marcus Bil stickers on the side of the car, so that every time and also I try to then make a thumbnail where the Marcus Bil sticker is there. And initially I didn't do that on purpose, but when he told me, I was like, oh, that makes sense, because when you make the thumbnail of something like a Tesla Model S Raven that went 644 kilometers in a single charge, if that video gets promoted in or mentioned in some electric or some shit, they will typically just use the default thumbnail on that video, and then suddenly Marcus Bil's name, logo, brand is exposed on electric or other places. So that, yeah, so he's a brilliant man. That's why he's successful and growing. So I'm just super happy with the cooperation with him. I can buy, like, for example, nowadays I requested, I want to do, I see people requested me to test a Model Y with trailer. So yeah, I requested that, and then Marcus found a Model Y on sale that had for sale that had okay price, and he will always figure out if it's profitable for him to buy that second hand and then use it for a little bit and then sell it. So yeah, right now I don't have it. He needed it for the weekend, and then I'm gonna get it back. I'm not sure when, and then I will do the test with the trailer, 1,000 kilometer challenge trailer test. And also I'm also testing the fridge, the test camp fridge, and I will also be testing some other accessories with my other sponsor I will mention soon. Yeah, maybe I can mention it, which is before that one, it should come in the right order. And then we have Kempower. And then why did I choose Kempower? I could have chosen bigger companies like ABRP, Tritium, right? They have been in the game for a long time. FSEC, maybe Hypercharger, which is Alpitronic. But I chose Kempower because I felt like they were different. They were not like the other brands making chargers. When I saw Kempower at ESPA for the first time, well, actually I saw an article first. It was just instant love and instant impressed. I was like, wow, that is some serious good shit. You can scan the QR code and say, whoa, look at this. Whoa, this is a rare car. I need to mention this. It's a BMW i8. Yeah. Seems to be actually the Roadster version, or I'm not sure. Is that called Roadster or Cabriolet? What is the difference between Cabriolet and Roadster? Yeah, but that is a rare car. It was supposed to be, well, I don't know, maybe not on purpose, but it was kind of rivaling a Model S 10 years ago. But yeah, the Model S was pretty much neck and neck with the i8 0 to 100, but then past 100 kilometers per hour, i8 was way faster. But it is a fossil car with an electric drivetrain, so it's actually it's a parallel hybrid. But okay, yeah, Kempower. I mean, the reason why I chose Kempower is because it has something to do with electric mobility, and I want to try. I will always try to choose the best. It's the best out there, and I want to promote Kempower because I believe in them. I believe they have a great product, and you guys, I mean, you guys know the drill, right? I mean, many of you guys also love Kempower, and it's not because I told you that Kempower is good. You know, if I was bullshitting, people would find out. So Kempower has been growing like crazy. Like I've seen some of the what do you call it again? Shareholders meetings. They'd be like, I mean, they are so nice people. They're so humble. Even the CEO. Oh, what's his name again? Istomaki. Tomi. Was it Tomi Istomaki? He's so super nice. We went on a sauna together. He's so down to earth. But that was, I mean, it wasn't because of that I initially wanted them as a sponsor, but they were like, back to the whole shareholders meeting, they were like, oh yes, since the last period, the last 3 months, we have tripled the production, we have hired 200 more people, yeah, we have way higher revenue. I was like, what the heck, man? You got the freaking doubling, tripling, not in 1 year, but in 3 months or some shit like that. They are just growing exponentially. I'm like, oh man, if I had some more, if I had the leftover money, I would buy Kempower stocks. I could have paid for my house if I did that before. Shit, man. But Kempower has been growing like crazy, and unfortunately, Fortum, or well, now Recharge. Well, Fortum I think still exists as the energy company, yeah, electricity company. But under that one they have Recharge. Before it was called Fortum Charge and Drive. But fortunately Fortum is Finnish. Kempower is also Finnish. So then, needless to say, the Finnish companies, they probably want to use their own products and promote themselves and help each other, right? So Kempower, or sorry, Recharge tend to prefer to use Kempower, and we have seen that in the past. Recharge, man, they've been on a freaking Kempower spree in Norway. They replaced plenty of older 50 kilowatt sites, or they have been expanding, yeah, new sites. It was at Foxerød I went there. Before they used to have Tritium and ABB, and okay, I don't want to shit on other brands, you know, that doesn't look good, but I'm just saying that they had 50 kilowatt chargers at Foxerød, plenty of them, and they replaced them with a bunch of Kempower instead, because the 50 kilowatt is not going to cut it nowadays. And they probably figured out, okay, that site, maybe it has 300 to 500 kilowatt power available. Maybe they expanded for some more, but then by using Kempower, you have distributed load, and then it doesn't matter if a replicating leaf that takes 20 kilowatt plugs in there. There will still be plenty of other stalls, so that the fat e-tron can get 150 kilowatt, rather than the fat e-tron is locked to 50 kilowatt max, and then the leaf is taking 20 kilowatt out of and then there will be 30 kilowatt of unused power, right? Something like that. So I love the idea with Kempower. The reason why I chose Kempower is that the product they have is more or less unique. Other brands like Delta, Altopitronic, yeah, at least those two, they have power sharing, but it's just 2 stalls on one. Or actually, Altopitronic, they have up to 4 plugs. Yeah, up to 4 plugs in one cabinet. But I think there is even some limitation. If you want to have 4 plugs, you have to have the fat cabinet with up to 4 power units. I think one power unit in the Altopitronic is, well, officially they say it's 75 kilowatt, but I know that unofficially it's 87.5 kilowatt, so that you can actually output 350 kilowatt if you have a fat Alpitronic hypercharger. Hypercharger is a product name. But they only have that part, so they don't have that finer distributed power sharing like Kempower. So yeah, that's the reason why I chose Kempower, because they have an awesome product, people love it, and I'm happy to promote it. If it helps for me to show that logo and someone sees it, and it will improve electric mobility. Because by the end of the day, if you have, for example, okay, no offense to Ioniq, I also love Ioniq. They have the second best, greatest charging network in Europe, next to Tesla, because Tesla opened up the supercharger network. But Ioniq, you know, they are also awesome, top notch. But when it comes to Ladestau, Ioniq, they chose a different approach, and they don't have power sharing thing. It's just, yeah, this goes deeper. You know, it's like they might not always be able to choose the optimal way, because they might be dictated by the shareholders, which is the brands behind them, the big German brands mainly, and the other brands also, yeah, the partners. But in a comparison, Ioniq, they have few stalls, but you are guaranteed to get good speed. If you are riding with a Porsche or something, right, or e-tron GT, you are guaranteed to get maximum speed, 270 kilowatt that they can provide, the car can take, 265 actually. But then there is not much power sharing actually at all when I think about it. There's not, Ioniq doesn't use Alpitronic. They're only using ABB, the new ones that look like the tritium charger. Yeah, ABB and tritium. So yeah, that's just in comparison. But what was my point again? Yeah, my point is that you want to use hardware to avoid Ladestau. So if you have available power and you have the balance between how much money you want to invest, how big transformer you want to pay, versus how expensive is that site going to be. Because if the charging network is too expensive, people will know and they will avoid them. And then the cheaper ones like Tesla supercharger, you know, people are going there. They're flocking around the supercharger. Oh, it's cheap, man. Good shit, man. Yeah, and no Ladestau, plenty of stalls. And that is better for electric mobility. Because if there's one negative thing about electric mobility is Ladestau. And if people are pointing and laughing at EVs stuck in charging queues, or Ladestau is charging queue, yeah. But if you have good charging hardware like Kempower, that is one way to contribute to less Ladestau while still not making it too expensive for the charge point operators. Yeah, so very long explanation. Yeah. And the last sponsor I have for now, at least, I'm working on one more, but yeah. But at least the last sponsor I have is Bilkomponenter. So initially, okay, I made some video with Bilkomponenter. It's located in Kløfta, in the cleavage. Yeah, you always want to get your good shit at cleavage. But he's a Norwegian guy, he's Nordlending, you know, just like me. Jævla Nordlending! Yeah. Yeah. Over there it's like, ja, åssen går det med deg, din jævla hestkuk? Oh yeah, that is just normal language up there. In the south, be like, huh? What? Are you trying to offend me? Oh man. No, but okay. But he's also a nice guy, but you know, he's a Nordlending, but he's still a nice guy. And he sells accessories. Yeah. You guys might have seen some other accessories in the past, but at least he sells lots of accessories. He wants to be big. Okay, it's good to have one like him. And at least he wanted to give me a share with. He saw the value on my channel, and he was the one pushing to me like, hey, you know, if you use this discount code, you will also get a part of it. I was like, okay, I'll see. He's like, there's money in this, you know. And I was like, okay. And then, well, it turns out, yes, I get around 300 euros in revenue or in commission from that one. I need to work more in it, because he has good service, he has nice people, and also they can also install some of the stuff, but it depends. It's not he doesn't have a repair shop like Nasir, so it's limited what he can do, but at least he can install LED bars, he can do some basic stuff that customers like me, I don't have the knowledge, or I'm too noob to, if I try to install shit like that myself, I will break something, or I don't want to waste my time on it, or I will waste too much time trying to do something that I can't do. So yeah, Bilkomponenter, and also he ships to pretty much all over the world, he claims, except for maybe Nigeria and North Korea, yeah, and maybe, I don't know if he would ship to China. I mean, he buys the shit from China. I guess if Chinese people want to buy from him, yeah, go ahead. Let's ship some stuff over from China to Norway and then back to China again. Yeah, why not? Let's be green. No, but so yeah, I chose him because it's different, you know. Also, my sponsors, they are not directly competing against each other. So they have some, Polizei, 9, move over, dude, move over, a freaking Volvo, dude. Okay. Oh, I think that's Insatzleder. Yeah, that one, if it's a Ford, whatever, SUV, not sure what yeah, that one is probably the boss, not the regular patrol. But okay, so that is the last sponsor, and so the whole thing is that I try to handpick my sponsors, and I mean, people will use my sponsors at one point, right? Some of them, and I don't want to promote something that gives my viewers bad experience. So if I find out that Marcus Bil treated the customers bad, or if they went to Bilkomponenter and they got a bad installation, and Sondre did not take responsibility as a salesman, if I find out something like that, I will cut out that sponsor. Integrity and customer satisfaction is more important to me than the money. So and also because I fortunately have several income sources, so it's not like I need that one income source. It's nice to have, but it's not crucial. But yeah, so now I gave you guys a little insight in my sponsors, why I chose them. And well, I guess it's, even though it's not official, okay, I can tell you that I think it's not secret, okay? I mean, eventually the news will be out anyway. I can tell you that I'm working on getting Anywhere as my next sponsor. They are interested. They find it interesting. And Anywhere makes these charging containers. You guys have seen it maybe, or if you haven't, it's actually like a container. It's like a 20-foot container. They might also make a smaller one eventually. And what is brilliant about Anywhere is that they make the whole solution fit. You can fit it in a truck, and you can move it around. And that solution consists of a battery pack and a charging station. And the beauty is that you can feed it. It's like a big ass power bank. You can feed it with low power. You know, if you wanna build, this is the dilemma. When you wanna build a fast charging site, how the heck do you know beforehand if that will be a success or not? I've seen in the past some places they build fast charger, and very few people charge there, and then the charge point operator or the company like Fortum or whatever, right? They then lose money, and they have to then remove some chargers. But then with that charging solution with a container, it has lots of flexibility. You can move them around based on holiday season, even Christmas, Easter, or or summer vacation. And you can also try out locations if you're not sure whether it will be successful or not. And you can feed it with as low as 43 kilowatt AC. You know, that's like a Zoe Q4 whatever. You know, the Q version of the Zoe. Yeah, with a Camelon onboard charger. And that means that it's way cheaper or less risk and more flexible to use that solution to try out things. Traditionally, if you want to build a fast charger, you have to hook up directly to the transformer, and way more installation cost, and more complicated. Yeah, also it's a matter of permission, because then you have to build something permanent, and it might take long time to get permission from the municipality. Whereas if you build something like, if you just slap down that container, it's way easier to get permission because it's a temporary solution. Yeah, permanent temporary, that's the best deal, man. I work in the government, I know what that means. but and then, yeah, so I want them to be my sponsor because I believe that that product will improve electric mobility by getting more chargers out there. So yeah, that's the whole ground, like the basic of my channel, or my basic, just me as a vlogger, is to try to make things better for EV drivers. So yeah, now you guys got a little explanation, long ass explanation with other topics we also touch into. And I would like to know what you guys think about my sponsors. But also, please, okay, I don't know, but in case you guys want to hammer me, but I will not take more sponsors. I think 6 is enough, or 5 or 6 is enough. I don't want to overwhelm my starting screen with sponsorship. But I can tell you that it works. That starting screen works brilliant, because people are using the link to get free 6 month pay, or whatever, 1 month free, 1 month free of a Better Routeplanner Premium, and people still see the Bilkomponenter link, and they use my link to buy some products. So it actually works brilliantly, because it is in the very beginning of the video, and it's so short that people don't skip it, and new viewers, they'll be like, huh, what is this? Oh, okay. So yeah, so it's like a little tip for you guys, if you also have a YouTube channel, and if you want to try to get some sponsors, not just copy it like me. Actually, this was actually a Better Routeplanner's idea. In the beginning, I had some other ideas how we can promote stuff, but they were the one who said, hey, why don't you just show a Better Routeplanner in the beginning, and then you just have a link, just have a floating text, a burned-in text in the first 5 seconds of the video, and then go to the description, and it was brilliant, man. A Better Routeplanner, they are freaking brilliant. But yeah, so I think that's it. Yeah. What was I going to say? Yeah, so what do you guys think about the 4K podcast? One thing I need to mention, some people say, oh, why don't you upload this to Spotify? I tried it. Seems like Spotify does not have anything direct you can go to, but there seems to be partners. Some other websites you can upload and then supposedly publish it on Spotify. But when I look at it, there is some, I had to pay some money for getting access there. So that's why I'm like, okay, whatever. I'll just keep it in the channel for now. Yeah, but I still have the full rights on my own chat here, of course. But now I get sun in the face, so then it doesn't look that pretty. Well, okay, but I think that's going to be it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, thank you for watching, and talk to you later.